What's up, everybody, and welcome to Financially Fierce, a podcast made for young adults by young adults, where we have conversations with experienced adults in the fields like home ownership, credit, and professional development, all to make sure that we can get a step-by-step guide to success. With that being said, today we want to introduce our speaker, Miss Anastasia Jackson. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself, Miss Jackson?
Yeah, so hello everyone. My name's Anastasia Jackson. I'm CEO and co-founder of WENITE. I graduated from the illustrious Howard University back in 2021 and have started my tech startup there. So I'm here to talk all things workforce development meets AI.
And so, really quick to put in a few cool things that Miss Anastasia has done is she is a Black Ambition Prize winner as well as a Black Girl Ventures Prize winner. She does a lot of speaking with a lot of different schools and different events, and so she has been in a lot of different spaces, talked to a lot of different people, and so we're very happy to have you on here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, honestly.
Of course, we
Thank
welcome
you.
you. Welcome you.
And so going back to your background and like how you, I remember listening to you talking about your business and how you created it. And I remember you said you started in college. And so
Mhm.
one of the things I wanted to go into was what kind of entry level jobs and internships were you able to do, or would you typically go after when you were in college?
So, fun fact, my major was actually sports medicine. I was going the route of pre-med. So
Wow.
the internships, I know, right? The internships that I did were like related to that. Like I was orthopedic surgery, like it was totally unrelated to my company now. What I did do though was I immersed myself with the faculty on campus. Like I would go find everyone that had to do with business, everyone that had to do with the problem that we're solving, which is like the administration bureaucracies at universities, just helping them automate some of those tasks. So I'll talk to anyone that I needed, and then I'll get involved in like accelerator programs or incubator programs. Um, yeah, that's the route I went. I went entrepreneurship like all the way.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so like I know like typically people like this is my major, so this is more so what I want to go towards. So how
Mhm.
did I know you said you did accelerators and things like that, but what even got you on the trajectory to that? Because a lot of times people are like, okay, this is my major, this is what I got to do. They don't really
Yeah,
kind of explore different avenues.
yeah. So that was literally an obstacle or limiting belief I had to overcome. I'm a multi-passionate person, and the majority of us are multi-passionate. And so society was telling me, like, okay, well, you're pre-med, so you need to do all things pre-med. Like all your extracurriculars should be surrounded around health. Um, However, for me, like you alluded to it before. I guess I should like back up and talk about how we night became.
Yeah.
um, it was like my personal experience when I first got to Howard and the runaround and like them taking away my housing, making me homeless my first semester, them having a $16,000 hold on my account because they thought I was already there the year prior to me actually arriving. And so it was like those personal experiences that made me commit to like, okay, I want to solve this problem. At first it was selfish, it was like for me, but then as I talked to more people and I realized like, oh my gosh, like this is a nationwide thing. Like students at HBCUs, students at PWIs are also facing this. It became like a bigger than me kind of thing. So when I had that level of commitment, like yes, I'm still matriculating. Yes, I'm still going to my classes, but like outside of those classes, I have to face these real problems. That's like me talking to other faculty member who were not related to my personal field, but who could help me solve this problem. So it just kind of became this like double life. At first, eventually, I did have to choose which one I'm going to go all in with, but for the most part during school, it's like this double life, and I had to be just as serious with solving this problem as I was with getting a 4.0.
I definitely agree with that. Like this takes dedication to be able to do. So it's definitely there. And so like one of the things about your business, I remember it's called We Night, and
Mhm.
it's an ed tech company building AI and blockchain powered tools specifically for HBCUs. And so how did you get into the AI and blockchain space? Like, how did you learn about it and things like that? Because typically, like, especially for your particular major, I can understand if you were like a technology major or something, but being of someone of a different major from technology in general, how did you even get into AI and blockchain?
Yeah, it was a journey. So I had no idea um, about like the nuts and bolts of tech at first because like yeah, pre-med, no idea. And so I immediately like was able to see like, oh, I need a team. So I started by like recruiting and be like, okay, who can work on this with me? Because I cannot be all the things. And just like that journey of learning and immersing myself in technology and with other like CS majors and technologists in the field, I began to learn more about the tools. And I know the problem, like I knew the problem very well. So I'm like, okay, like what tools actually are going to solve this? Because it's very nuanced, it's complex. We're talking about HBCUs here. They're not cookie cutter. So when I heard about like at first it was like, oh, React, like it's the most, it's what YouTube uses and Facebook and Meta and whatever. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, we like that. We like that. That'll work. But then it's like, okay, but still just that language alone does not help me with the bureaucracy and the manual task and help the admin. So it's like found out about AI and it's like, oh, okay, well then yes, we could streamline using that. But then the questions came about, oh, well, ethics are like, is our data safe? Like, how is it going to be secure? You're talking about people's credentials, you're talking about people's grades, like how are you, people's money, how are you going to make it safe? And then it's like, okay, blockchain, like, okay, let's put these Lego pieces together.
Mm. That's a really innovative way to think about that, because I know I've been doing my own AI projects recently, and I'm just stepping into AI space a lot more in on like the builder side. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really interesting to hear like the different things you're talking about, because I know I'm a technology major. I can't code like that. I understand the premise of it, but I
Mm-hmm.
can't do it for real. And so it's like there was a learning curve of just being able to understand like, okay, so I want to use AI. Well, okay, so how do I build AI? Coding. Oh, you know what? I can't do this anymore. So, like, did you ever hit like a roadblock like that, or just like any type of learning curves with it?
Yeah, so I'll talk about when I first started, but then like now it's so much, the playing field is so different. When I first started, and I was telling you guys about getting that team, I immediately knew like, okay, I need more people because to your point, like I'm like I can't do this, like I could, but it's gonna take me too long to get it. Um, and so when I got the team and I was asking them questions about like, okay, what are they learning in their classes? Like they didn't know, they knew like Python, they knew like C# or C++, things that were like languages that were kind of legacy. And me, I was like, well, we need React because at this point I'm just set in stone. Like this is what YouTube uses, and YouTube is cool, and like Instagram is cool. Like we need to use that same stuff. Oh my gosh. And so and so I had to figure out how to teach them React so that they can code this platform that I had in mind. And so we learned together. I bought the course and like I would go to the course, like I would be in the room too as they're learning, and I'm over here like I don't know what we're talking about, but let me throw my 2 cents in. Like I think I'm getting this. And that's how it started. But fast forward to now, like, oh my gosh, with the AI tools like lovable.dev, you don't need to learn how to code anymore, honestly. Like there's no code tools. If you could prompt really good, if you just learn how to prompt, you can build anything.
As
I've been
someone,
using lovable.dev this whole week.
yeah,
I promise you.
as someone who writes, lovable.dev has like wholly impacted me. And like, wait, when we first stumbled upon the app, it was a
Mm-hmm.
mind, it was an eye opener.
Mm-hmm.
I was literally just hanging out in his room, and he was at a different place, and I was just looking at different tools and stuff, and I was on like not Instagram, I was on LinkedIn, and I saw I think you might know him, like Steph Youngblood or something like that.
Yeah. So I thought,
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
he made sorry, not Instagram. He made a LinkedIn post about lovable.dev, and I was like, so I
What's
clicked
this?
it, and I was like, okay, let me test this out. And then I
Yeah.
decided working on it for the past week now. It's
Yes,
nice.
game changer, right?
Yeah.
Yes, because it's like, technology in the hands of people who don't have the skills to do it, which is like somebody like I said
Hmm.
me, where like if at first I might have needed to pay a whole lot of people to do certain like build certain things for me because I had the
Yeah,
vision for it, but I couldn't build it. And it's like
yeah,
it gives you a lot more agency over your own things too, because I could pay somebody to make something for me, but they might not make it the way I want it to be made. So like I
exactly,
can make changes at any time. I can have ownership of the project and stuff like that, and the most I'm just paying for is my coins. So that's I love
exactly.
global.
Right, and
Hmm.
I'm a sociology major. I mean, I have no idea of anything for tech related. It goes over my head completely. But even using Lovable for me, I'm able to like even not understanding what the coding, not understanding what it's doing, I can understand what it
Yeah,
tells me it's doing. I can understand what
yeah,
it's asking me to do or any of the updates that it wants me to do. And now I'm working on my own personal projects because I'm starting to get into it. And I'm on the free plan, and the free plan gives you like 5 credits a day, and that's still enough
it's
to
enough to get some
get
stuff done.
exactly.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
I said, an eye opener.
Hmm. Yes, 10 out of 10.
So what does talking about like the advancement of AI? So because AI is getting so advanced, we can see that it's taking different avenues in the workforce also. So like different people are losing their jobs and things like that because, different companies are trying to fill those spots with automation and AI to, streamline their work. So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that for just college students trying to get into the workspace? Because I know like a lot of times we're all entry level students who are looking for that work experience. And typically, in the normal traditional way, we would go get it through getting our first job. But if things
Mm.
are changing, how exactly, how can we literally compete against that? Or what exactly is the issue? Is that issue?
So I think that it's a challenge, but with every challenge, there's new opportunities. Um, so when I look at the current, because it's changing, right? 5 years from now, we have no idea what the workforce is going to look like exactly. But we can look at the trends. So entry level positions, they're the ones that are kind of like under attack, as you mentioned. At the same time, I believe that it's the definition of what entry level looks like is what's changing. So if a sociology major can now be a full stack developer by using lovable.dev, then that just means that in the workforce, they're going to start having the expectation of, regardless of what you went to school for, um, regardless of what certifications that you have, like the experience that you have with working with AI is going to need to be like top tier. Like they're expecting you to come into the workforce more knowledgeable than their seniors in their at their corporation. So like I know, right?
Wow.
Yeah, it's because they already are saying it now. So like I just was at the NVIDIA conference in San Jose, and NVIDIA was saying how they're hiring new people onto the team, our generation and yeah, Gen Z and millennial, and they're more expert with using AI than their seniors, their executive people. So if that's starting to be the trend, then that means it's starting to be the expectation.
Mm.
So yeah, just for all students that are like in college, use the AI. You have an advantage. You have the most curious minds. You're the fastest learners. And you have the ability to use them because you're not too bogged down with a certain way of doing things. You're naturally figuring things out. So I would just say play with all the AI tools, stay up to date, and then also approach it from like an ownership mindset. So don't play with the tools and be like, okay, well, I'm limited to what they can do because honestly, no, you can create anything. So if you're seeing a gap, like, oh, I would love if this tool could do this, and I hear everybody around me is also complaining about the same thing, then go build it because you can. Like, you can go build it over the weekend. Um,
Yeah.
so, so that's the one thing I would say. The other thing that I'm seeing that's also a huge trend is that not everybody's going to upskill. That's just a fact. So the first thing I was saying was upskilling, right? But not everybody's going to do that. And what it's doing is pushing more and more people to like not like entrepreneurship is no longer like a side thing. It's starting to become a
The
necessity.
main
Like you
thing.
have to, yeah, you have to create revenues for you have to become self-sustaining. You have to create revenues for yourself. And of course, that leads you down the whole path of entrepreneurship, where you're solving problems that actually matter. Because if it's solely about money, you're not going to go far.
Yeah.
But yeah, you gotta have a why behind it that's like worth all the pivots and all the roller coaster rides of entrepreneurship. But those are the two things I'm seeing. Either you're gonna upskill and go into corporate with the goal of like, I am like I know how to use AI. I know I'm not scared of it. I know how to adapt. Like I have the life skills and the soft skills to handle any type of terrain. That's like the mindset you'll have to go into corporate with. Or you're going to like go full fledged into entrepreneurship with the same, I mean, it's the same mindset ultimately though, but full fledged into entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because one of the things that I know I was definitely afraid of, and like this is why I ended up getting like more into the builder side of AI, because yeah, I used AI like to, generate different like reports and things like that, like maybe like help me search the internet a lot quicker, but it's more so
Yeah.
like on the user side. So yes, I have those skills in just using AI in general, but then I was like, okay, I'm about to graduate. I'm trying to build more work experience, or even just like not even just work experience, just trying to build my own little side hustle to where I can get income. Because
Mm-hmm.
at the time when I was at school, um I was playing a sport and stuff like that, so I didn't have the opportunity to really work. So it was like
Yeah.
I need to find a way to make money that doesn't really take a lot of money from me to start and things like that, and then also something that I can actually do. Cause you can look online
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, like what kind of jobs can I do? Like what's some small little things I can do? And it's not the best type of results. I be looking, I'm like, yeah, I
What
can't
does
do
it
that,
give you?
can't do that. I mean, I know one of them was like dog sitting, babysitting,
Yeah.
stuff like that. I was
I was
like,
like,
no,
go find
thanks.
somebody's kids.
I
You
was
go
gonna say,
babysit.
in this day and age, I was gonna say in this day and age where a lot of people are now expecting college students to have work experience and master degrees, I get told a lot.
Yeah.
I get told a lot by people, even including my own family, that the master degree is the new bachelor degree. Being able to show off these types of skills is really like beneficial. I know I was speaking with one of the older gentlemen in my department. He was like, when we were talking about AI, I talked a little with him about AI. He was like, back when I was younger, starting off, or back when I
Uh-huh.
was younger, when your parents came into the workforce, it was about just technology in general, how well they were able to
Yeah.
use just regular computers and stuff like that. He said it's ever going to expand, it's ever going to change. The only thing you need to know is if you're willing to change with it.
Exactly. You got to keep that mindset,
Yeah.
adaptability. Because even right now, we're talking about AI, but it's pretty certain that in about by 2030, we're going to be talking about quantum, and that's a whole different ballgame.
Exactly.
So,
Right.
so just staying on top of things, like staying ahead of the curve by being curious. When you're curious, you're naturally ahead of the curve because you like go down your rabbit holes at night, like while you're just chilling, and then yeah, those rabbit holes help.
It sure do. And so like one of the things, because I've been watching a lot of content too on these type of issues, and one of the things that they had talked a lot about is just employers looking for work experience in general. Because
Yeah.
like they were saying, because since there's so many students going to college, one of the things that they use as a way to try to like filter out people was saying, oh, you need a bachelor's degree. But since everybody's getting a bachelor's degree, it's like, okay, so now we got to figure out how else can we like have like a filter in a way. So like now, like since
Hmm.
everybody's like we have all these different systems and things like that now, jobs are saying, okay, we want real work experience. Even though like you're just coming out of college, we want you to at least have like 2 to 3 years of work
Yeah.
experience. I'm literally seeing those on job applications right now. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
bro, I just got out. I'm like, how am I supposed to have a year or like 2 to 3 years of work experience? And I'm just getting out of college. I'm like, yeah, I might have a few internships and stuff, but that doesn't like those are
That
different things,
does.
so it doesn't all come together. So it's like the job market is definitely getting more towards skills. And so like
Yeah.
what are some of the things that you think as a student they should focus more on with the landscape changing more towards this?
Yeah. So you named one. Internships definitely are going to help. Um, do them quicker, like get experience faster. Real world experience is the thing. Because like yeah, when you're in school, you're thinking like your grades. You're like, I got to study. I got, book smart, book smart. They want, well, students will need to have a balance of also having real world experience. So internships, I know for us, we do like student ambassador programs on campuses where the
Mhm.
student ambassadors, like, they're with us all year, and then they get like firsthand experience with like working with IoT, which is like making sensors for real-time data collection, or they're developing with AI, they're developing with blockchain and AR, VR stuff. So like they're getting experience that the workforce would want, um, while they're still like freshmen. Like one of our student ambassadors, he's a freshman, and he's like, Microsoft, he came to an event with me, and Microsoft was like, we'll give you an internship a paid internship by the end of this summer. And that's like unheard of for freshmen. So it's just like, it's, how do you say that? Like, I would maybe even say it's just making students have to be more ambitious than normal, than usual,
Mhm.
with putting themselves out there a lot sooner to be in the workforce. So almost, and it's because some students, they're already doing this in high school. Um, so yeah, it's like, it's really like leveling up, putting yourself out there, and like age range is becoming like a illusion. Like it doesn't matter how old you are, it matters how your mindset is. Are you curious? Are you adaptable? Are you flexible? Are you a go-getter? Like it's all about that grit.
Mhm. And so like one of the things that I was thinking about from what you said was like internships and things like that. And I know like internships is always going to be like the number one like you should get, like
Yeah.
internships, co-ops and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So for people who are not able to get those opportunities, because those type of things are also competitive. And so
Yeah.
typically you have to be a lot better than your competitors in order to get into even those type of programs. So how can the students take the work experience into, like, how can they take that stuff into their own hands so that they won't have to rely on someone else to give them the opportunity?
Yeah. I love that question. Because you can do your own projects. Like if you're talking about technology, if you're talking about any industry, you can start doing your own projects. Like I know that there's a couple students at Howard that they're like over the summer, they're like, we're going to build something. We don't know what, but we're going to build it. We're going to showcase it. We're going to add it to our portfolios. So back to what you're saying, like that ownership and having the autonomy over your life and your experience. So if you want to go deep dive into something, then go do it, and then put it on your resume because you put in that work. You learned a whole language. You did a whole project, whether it was with Lovable, which is a plus, um, or if you did it, coding by hand, which is also plus. Well, how fast did you code it
Hey,
all?
either way, it's where I'm a code writer, I'm a viber, so it's all
Yeah, I'm
good.
a
I still got
Viber.
code and
Open.
it still got
Yes,
code in
I can
it.
call myself that too now. with all this time I've had on the app.
You're a Viber.
Yep.
Hmm.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm going to chuckle when I start seeing that in people's bios and their LinkedIn bios.
I'm about to put that in there, say code viber.
Oh, Viber, get at me. When you can, and that's a revenue stream, right? Because you could be like, I'll freelance, I'll
Like,
build for you. Like, I got
and
it.
then just think about it. I can my selling pitch could be, hey, it takes a regular developer to like maybe like a month to do your website. I can do it in like 2 weeks.
Uh-huh, max. Max. So yeah, exactly.
Right.
And so like
Exactly.
another thing that I thought about was you were saying how students have to be more ambitious. And so I
Yeah.
know that one of the big pitfalls of AI is that a lot of students become too reliant on it. And so that can, lead them to being more like less ambitious. So what are some of the things that you've seen from you working with a lot of different HBCUs and just colleges in general and around that issue?
Okay, can you break down an example of what you mean by too reliant?
So, I mean, like, so more so, like, one of the issues that professors and things have with, AI is that students will probably write a whole report using AI and not really like taking the time to really like one, maybe check it, to maybe like write the prompt, like write the paper before, and then just have like AI just make some minor edits. So things like that, where you're just having AI do everything from the beginning versus you having your own input. Similar to prompt engineering, you have to give it a prompt, or you have to understand what you're trying to tell the AI for the AI to do it the way you want it to do it.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
I wanted to step in. I mean, even now, you can go on, like, I have a class where, yeah, we watch YouTube videos and we answer questions from the YouTube videos. Well, the YouTube video, now there's a whole app that's for free that you can plug in the worksheet and then
Yeah.
have make a summary of the YouTube video, and
Yeah.
then it will do the work for you. And that's just for homework. I mean, you can plug that in for tests, you can plug that in for assignments. It's like
Yeah.
of professors don't know what's real and what's not, what's your work and what's truly isn't. I know a lot of professors are reverting back to paper and pen because that's a lot easier, but then again it's a lot harder on them.
Yeah. So I love this question because it's a conversation that's still like fresh to be had. And honestly, I would kind of you call out the professors a bit here. The way that
Mm.
they're yeah, I know, right?
No,
Don't hurt me,
honestly, yeah.
professors. um, they have to adapt, and they are. So the HBCUs that we work with, they're adapting. And let me give you an example of what it looks like. Imagine your professor tells you, okay, you're going to go write a paper on, I'm going to use African studies, right? I'm going to say the Moors, and you're going to go use ChatGPT to write it. All right, that's first thing. You
Mm.
come back with your paper, and now you guys need to discuss it. You need to edit it out loud with your in class. Like you guys are going to talk about it. So basically, that workflow is just showing that the way that you teach has to change and adapt with AI because you
Mm.
don't want to encourage students to not use it because now you're not preparing them for real world, right? You want to
Yeah.
encourage them and yourselves as professors to incorporate it heavy into your curriculum, not just a little bit, but like actual heavy because you want experts, right? You want top top of the crop. That's the whole purpose of going and getting higher education. So you want to put it at your core, but then to what you were saying, James, you want to make sure that they completely understand it. Like, can you relate to me in a regular conversation what you know about the Moors now? Can we have a high level conversation about this? Because you just 1 hour of a deep dive, you should be able to come back with to me with a high level, like knowing stuff that I don't know. Like we should be able to have that type of conversation now.
Right.
So it kind of same thing with the workforce, right? So the expectations that the professor should have of like the understanding that the students have of the subjects should kind of go up while they simultaneously tell the students to use AI.
Yeah, and I think because one professor I have that I really like is he encourages us a lot with AI, and I think that goes back to your point with changing the way you teach, because one of the ideas I just thought about with that whole thing is, instead of having students like you said just write a regular paper, teach them prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is one of the most important things you can learn in this AI space. Just knowing how, like, what your problem is, knowing how to word it in a way that the AI will be able to understand it and be able to give you a detailed analysis or detailed whatever you need for that. I'm like, prompt engineering is something they don't teach in school yet, and prompt engineering is something you have to typically just go to YouTube to try to like learn more about, or just some
Mm,
type of program. And so this is where it goes into the schools adapting in their adapting in their teachings, because even in one of my classes right now, I had took last semester, I had took an interface design class. I never actually learned how to design an interface. They didn't tell me the softwares to use. We didn't actually like physically design a interface on no type of systems or nothing.
mm,
We just learned the basically the what you don't do for interface, what you do for interface, and just the theoretical stuff, but nothing
yeah,
teaching me how to do it. And
actually
so
do it.
that's a real problem, because I'm coming to college to learn how to do these things, and all I'm learning is the paper version of doing it. Like, okay,
Yeah,
so this is all the background understanding, which, yes, that's important, but it's not as important as learning how to build it, or if it is important, integrate those lessons into the building of that system.
Exactly. Exactly. Spot on.
Mm. Well, yeah, that's just one of the gripes I had. 'Cause I was like, I took this whole class and I ain't learned how to do no interface.
That's crazy. And that's common too, because like I know, I forgot who told me this, but they're like basically your bachelor's is just you understanding the concept of something, your master's is you understanding like how do you say that? Like understand how to do it, right? And then your doctorate is now you creating your own path.
And
Um,
see, but I feel like
that has to
that's a
change.
lot of money to do. Like you have to go through
Exactly.
so many different stages of life to get to that stage of being able to learn how to do something. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, can I just learn how to do that in 4 years? Like that's what I'm coming to school for. Y'all are trying to keep taking my
Yeah.
money and put me in more debt. Is what I see what you're doing trying to do.
Exactly. And it's changing. So like I think the workforce, all of this is like starting to merge. Not everything used to be kind of nicely segmented and compartmentalized, whereas in now everything's blurred and mixed together. Because like my co-founder, for instance, she she's getting her doctorates right now. And what really pushed her to go get her doctorates is because the work that we do at WeNite with like building this, it was doctorates level. Like the amount of research that goes into building these products, the amount of publications that we continuously have. Like she's like, I could, might as well just go get your doctorates because that's exactly what you would do in school. So
Yeah.
other than the class part, right? So it's like
Mhm.
the real world and academic world are merging. So like they're both speeding up, or they both need to kind of speed up.
And that actually goes into like another thing I just thought about is, so if I'm a student where or actually let's say I'm a high school student and I'm trying to figure out whether or not I should go to college or if I should just like, go about other means, because as you like said, like, or you can find a lot of the resources that you need on YouTube. And typically when you're in college, you use YouTube to learn other concepts
YouTube
or learn the
University, exactly.
concepts. Yeah.
Yep,
So
YouTube
it's
University.
like if YouTube is a free source that I can use at any time, then what is the point of me coming to college? And so it's like,
Mm,
can you talk more about like what are the goods and bads around this problem? Because if I can learn things a lot more just being outside of college, because one, I have more time to learn it, and two, it's a free resource, then how can like how is the space of college even necessary? And if it is, then how can we curate it to where it'll be more beneficial to students?
yeah. So I would say, because there's, yeah, it's both sides. College is still very necessary from the networking perspective. So like, yes, you can be the smartest person in the room. You can have, you can understand a subject in and out without the community aspect, without like knowing people and like getting your foot into these industries, into rooms that are literally curated for your like, Hampton does a really great job too with like making sure that their students are able to get into the room. So yeah, those experiences, they're worth it. They're worth the run around. They're worth all of it. It is the reason why we have pride in our HBCUs in the first place. Um, so, so that's the pro of college. But to your point, like it's not necessary when it comes to being an expert in something. You can go to YouTube University, you can go to events, you can go to workshops, you can go to conferences. Back to the story about NVIDIA, they're having, just like us, right? They're having their employees also go and attend their free certifications in those classes, whether it's at NVIDIA, whether it's at Microsoft, at Google. Like everyone's in the same playing field right now. So like, yes, do those certifications, go to those classes, go to, even if you don't finish it, because you don't really need the paper, you just need the understanding.
Yeah.
So like just go get the knowledge, but at the same time, college is necessary because of the network part. Like you won't, YouTube doesn't have that yet, they don't have that yet, I would say.
And yeah, I would definitely agree, because that's one thing I can say that was one of my big highlights with my college experience, was being able to meet the different people. Because like I said, I started off as technology major. Yes, my business is still technology centered around, but I didn't know business and things like that. I had
Yeah.
ideas on how it worked, but and then not only that, but the different people I met pushed me to be in different situations that ended up
Yeah.
prompting me to become the person I am today. Like the person I
Yeah.
was before is not the same person. I would not be doing this right now. So it's, I feel like
I,
the different people you meet and stuff also definitely pushes you towards, changes.
exactly. Exactly. Go ahead, James.
No, I was just gonna say no. It's the same for me. I started out as a pre-med student. I switched to sociology, but even now I'm online. I'm online doing online classes for coding and AI coding.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. Trying
Mm-hmm.
to learn the people I've met, the people I've worked with, helped me build up to this kind of stance of where I want to be at. Especially Jalea, helping her with her stuff, helping her with her work, and
Mm-hmm.
now starting to branch off and do my own thing. It's just I understand what you mean when you mean community. You get to see the people who you're going to be working with for the next couple of years. You get to see
Yeah.
other editors. You get to see people who are potentially employees or maybe
Yeah.
coworkers. It's just, yeah, I
Yeah.
see what you mean by that. And I think that's the best part about the college experience. And I still have one more year to go, so I
Oh,
still have,
enjoy.
yeah. This is gonna be my senior year, man. It's gonna get it all
You
done, but
got this. You got this.
woo. But yeah, but I totally see what you mean by that, and it's been a process. It's definitely been a process, but yeah, I like where we got to now.
Yeah. It makes it worth it, because like you're surrounded by excellence. You're surrounded, and then for our community, like you're surrounded by Black and Brown excellence, which society tells you does barely exist. But then you go to your campus and you're like, what do you mean it barely exists? It's all that I see. Like, like it's all that I
Honestly.
see.
And then
Right.
you leave and you're like, whoa, I didn't realize, like, I got so used to seeing everybody all the time. Like, I'm not used to like not seeing you guys anymore.
I was good.
And
The
you know what's
prior,
crazy though? For me, that's has not been the scenario. Like I am still, and it's because who I serve, right? And but I'm still so surrounded by that excellence. However, I do see it when I go to something like out of the country, like when we went to the Dubai and Jatex, it was like, where am I at? Where's our people? And it was like, our people are working. They're not actually here to attend, and that was culture shocking. But we're out there. You just got to come to the conferences. There's so many.
Okay. So one of the things I also want to talk about, because like since you're working like closely with HBCUs and like how they're currently operating, things like that, do you
Hmm.
see any of the improvements right now like going towards the well, of course, like with your technology, but any other improvements going towards trying to make the space more evolve to where we're going?
Yeah, yeah. So HBCUs are very, very much having the hard conversations about how to stay at the forefront of AI. I want to shout out like two HBCUs in particular, like NCAT. They are killing the game. Okay, like they have a hologram lab, they have like a robotics lab, right? Holograms, y'all, holograms.
Wow.
So like, yeah, so like they are very much immersed and very much leading the way. And then you have, Morgan State University. They also are doing so many things with technology. Like they have a blockchain entire center, an entire department for blockchain, and an entire
Wow.
department for AI. So it's like HBCUs are making sure that they're staying at the forefront. What my call out would be to make sure that um, one, they commercialize on these things, so like make money from this, make it
Yeah.
a revenue stream, and then two, collaborate. So like work with all the other HBCUs, make sure that you're, not just only working with like PWIs, but like work with HBCUs, work with your community.
Yeah. And I'm like, and I feel like that's definitely a place we need to go because like with this technology divide we're going into where
Yeah.
our community, we're a bit like we're kind of behind on the AI train, and so that can create bigger disparities within our community of even being able to have access to it, one, then be able to learn how to do it, like how to use it. Because once people we're already getting into like I know we're talking about AI agents and stuff right now. Then there's more things that's coming like soon that I don't know about yet. But basically, all these different things. If you're farther behind, you gotta learn all of that stuff, and everybody's already learning it now. So
Hmm.
it's definitely like a scary place for our community to be in because it's like we can get pushed farther back.
See, that's the thing too, though, about this technology. Once you become aware, once you become curious, then there's no limitations. Like once you get past the limiting belief, even if you knew nothing about AI yesterday, you can do so much studying over 2 days that you will all of a sudden like be like you can catapult in this field. If that makes sense. So I think that
Yeah.
yes, the gap, but like, come on, they can catapult. We got this.
Right. Of course.
So is there any type of AI tools like besides Lobo that we already talked about that you would suggest that students start getting acquainted with just to be able to catapult themselves in their own projects and getting more like work and experience, more experience in what they're trying to do?
Um, there's so many tools. I will just say two.
Hmm.
So I would encourage for those who do want to deep dive and understand and like research quickly to use Notebook LM. Go ahead and use like peer-reviewed articles on things that are like, credible. You can upload them into Notebook LM. They can give you, whatever form you learn best in. It could be a podcast, listening to a podcast like this one, um, or you can be looking at a art like a study guide. So yeah, Notebook LM to learn quicker and
Hmm.
on a deep level. And then I would also say for the creatives that would like to like make videos, to like, I don't know, you can use these for ads for your business. You can use this for just for creative purposes in general. I would say, yeah, use like a workflow of like creating your image in GPT and then putting it into Runway ML to make a video generating and then putting it all together in like Vimeo or YouTube, with the voiceover. So just like learning how to put those AI tools together to streamline your flows.
I
Nice.
definitely agree with that. That's what I'm currently learning right now. So I'm definitely glad I'm
Ah,
on the right track.
you're on the right track and reach out. I got you.
Mhm. And then so I just have two more questions. But if you were a college student in this current landscape right now, and let's say you are graduating, what would be one of the first things you'd be looking to do?
What do you mean, like in school or to prepare for out of school?
I would say probably to prepare for out of school because you're going to be graduating.
Right, right, right. So I would be having some real conversations with myself, about what road do I want to go down? Is it upskilling and going into corporate, or is it entrepreneurship? And then based on, what my heart says, because I'm a heart-led person. To me, logic is like it's just gonna whatever I want to do, logic is gonna be how I do it. So
Hmm.
heart leads. But anyways, so once I decide which way I want to go, then I would use, since it's my last year on campus, I would use all the network that I could possibly find to make sure that I have all plan A, plan B, plan C secured and ready so that when I'm out of school, whatever happens, like, okay, I gave myself the best shot and I'll be able to navigate it from here.
I definitely agree with that. Definitely leveraging your networks, like making sure that you've made the impact you want on your campus, as well with the people that you've met, and just be able to see how you can use those connections later to like either just give you guidance or just to help you in the different things you're doing. So I definitely agree with that. And
Hmm.
so I guess my last question would be, so if you could talk to your younger self, what would be something that you would tell yourself?
I would tell myself to keep going. I would tell myself to I know that everything's so uncertain and it's so unknown and you've never done this before and I'm first generation, so like you don't know people who have done this before. But keep going because like you got it, you can figure it out and yeah, just keep going.
I got that on my wall somewhere. Say keep going.
You just keep
That
going. Trust
daily
the process.
motivation. One step at a time.
Yes, yeah, literally. Literally.
So that will be the end of the podcast, though. So if any of you are listening and you would like to connect with us, please make sure to find us at our social media links, as well as if you like to continue the conversation, please make sure to follow our social medias and be able to just send us questions you have so that we can look to asking those questions the next time. But again, my name is Julia Allen.
I'm James Sargent.
And with here we have Anastasia. And so yes, y'all have a nice one.